Guys, I've been trying to share something for the longest time, and something always comes up. Um, and I don't have time to read a devotional. I don't think I have time to read the devotional. Um, so I just want to share. I'm gonna. I'll share one of my "Be Still and Knows That God Is." You know what I mean. I'll just try to read one of these. These are shorter than the other devotional because I just don't think I want to get on it and I want to share something. And I started to share so much just yesterday, and it just I was on a time crunch, and I don't like being on a time crunch. I want to be able to get on and then share what I need to share without having to rush, and my words are just like all over the place. I do have a dream that the Lord gave me like over a month ago, and I ran with whatever happened in the dream without getting the full revelation, and it caused a lot of confusion and chaos to me because I did not really. I mean, I did sit with the Lord and be like, "Hey, what does this mean?" But I was so stoked about it, so excited. I ran with it and I just shared it with somebody, and then I was like, looking back now, God was like, "I don't even know why you did that. It was not time to do that." And that's not even what the dream meant, ma'am. And God gave me a word. It just took one word for him to speak, to show me. And it allowed me to Google stuff and dig into the scriptures and pull out the verses from what he was saying. And that, what happened in that dream, like in the whole dream, honestly, there was just so much spiritual warfare, so much demonic stuff going on in that dream. But y'all, I'm telling you, like, I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, this is what this means." And yes, I was so excited. But God was like, "Baby, sit down. Sit down." Because that's not even what it means. So I will end up sharing that with you guys. I don't know when. If it might be today, it might be tomorrow. I don't know when. But when I get everything together, I will share that. That was my own fault for doing that. But I knew that that dream meant something, but it just did not mean what I wanted it to mean. Um, and I should have known because of the woman that was telling this to me. Like, I'll get into that later. I'll get into that later. Let me try to read this before I got 5 minutes. And it's coming out of Mark 1:16 and 17. As Jesus passed along the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people." Simon and Andrew were just doing their ordinary job when Jesus called out to them. It wasn't like they were doing anything particularly special. Jesus must have known that they longed for significance in their lives. Excuse me. He put his call on them in their language. They knew that catching fish was sometimes difficult and that it required determination and strength. This is what the Christian life is like for us. It is sometimes difficult. Think of Jesus calling out to you as you do your ordinary things today. He wants you to follow him into a life full of significance. The disciples responded immediately to Jesus' call. They must have known about Jesus and his ministry, and they were eager to be part of God's work on earth. In our busy lives, we can be quick to dismiss Jesus' voice, or it can be drowned out in the noise of everything else, competing for our time and our energy. As you take time to stop and still your heart, listen for what Jesus wants to say to you and commit to responding quickly. Y'all, that last sentence hit me. As you take time to stop and still your heart, listen for what Jesus wants to say to you and commit to responding quickly. What can you hear Jesus speaking to you in this moment? Y'all, I can't even. This is from me today. This is from me today. And because I don't got the time to talk about this. I just don't have the time to talk about this. But God is just, I love how He's so good and He's so gracious and so merciful to even come back and bring, even more revelation to whatever if you have dreams or visions or whatever the case, like, he'll give you the full revelation if we just sit still and quiet our minds and quiet our hearts. And this is just kind of, it's reminding me of that one day where I just shared a dream that I didn't even have a full revelation on. I didn't. I was just so pumped up and so excited. I was like, yes, this is what it means. God was like, no, baby, that's not what it means. Again, I'll just go into, into further detail on that part, because yeah, I ended up replaying. I didn't know I recorded the dream. I just remember, sometimes I can remember the dreams without even recording them. But I remember I had to go back into my messages or voice notes, whatever you want to call it, and I went back and listened to it. And there was one part that hit me so strongly when I went back and listened to it. But 3 minutes, guys. I got 3 minutes to press play on here. God is so gracious. He's so gracious. He's so gracious. He's so gracious because, okay, I can't get into the full. I got 2 minutes now. I got to get logged in at work. Not sure if I'm going to be sharing that today, maybe later today. I don't know. I know yesterday, out of nowhere, God quickened my spirit at like 6:15 to go for a walk. And I was like, it was so interesting how He did that. Like, I'm just chilling on the couch and I just felt prompted out of nowhere to just get up and go for a walk. And baby, I got dressed so fast. And I would take my walk around 6. This was 6:15. Got out, went on my walk, played my music. Y'all, I was power walking. Came back home, it was already dark. And then the moon was full, and I just loved it because as I was walking that way towards the other side, it was the sun. The sun was setting. And then as I was coming back home, it was the moon, and I was like, oh my gosh. God, thank you, Lord. Oh my gosh. My God, my God, my God. My God, my God, my God is all I gotta say, because He knew what Jesus knows me. He knows what I love. He knows anyways, I love you guys. I'll check in with you guys later.